Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you guys can hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I was getting another message on my side, so I want to make sure everyone can hear me. So good morning and welcome to WorkSync Visual Scheduling Training. My name is Tyrolyn McCoy, and I will be your trainer for today. Okay, so we will get started just here momentarily. Brief pause there. So welcome again, Life Unlimited. So this morning, before we begin, we're going to go over the training objectives for today's training. So the training objectives for today's training is that we will have basic navigating in the system. We will discuss knowing when there are issues with the schedule and how to resolve those issues, and starting and creating your next schedule. So just a couple of ground rules before we get started. We just ask that if possible, you could mute your microphone when you're not speaking. That helps us avoid any background noise if you're kind of in a noisy environment. And then if you have email as permitted, please close and clear any email or distractions from your desk. We encourage you to speak up or use the chat feature if you have any questions. And most importantly, we encourage you to participate to ensure that you have a good user experience today. So we are going to hop into the system at this time and get started. All right. So we are now actually going into the system. Okay, and our screen here is loading. All right, can everyone see the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
blow it up just a little bit, give you a little bit better view.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, that's good, great, thank you. Okay, so now we are into our visual scheduling, what we call the dashboard. So I would like to first show you how we actually got to the visual scheduling dashboard. So if I can turn your attention here, the menu here on the left, you have menu selections and there is scheduling. So to navigate into visual scheduling, we would simply click on scheduling. And then of course below it is a sub menu and you would click visual scheduling and that would bring us to the screen that you currently see displayed. So for a little bit better view, I'm going to go ahead and collapse this left menu, which opens up our real estate a little more so we can see more of the screen. So for today's group, this is group 3, and we're looking at Bridget's group. So what you see displayed here on the screen are the templates, and these are the communities in which Bridget is responsible for. So that's what we are currently viewing. So notice here you see a couple of different templates, but I wanted to point out to you, you can either view them all at one time, or you can group them based on the ones that you're responsible for seeing by using this drop-down feature here. Also, there are tags that can be used, and so there's several different tags in here. You can view all, or just Bridget's group, or just a particular community. So for the purpose of today's training, we're going to be viewing just Ashland. So I'm going to click there so that everything else is going out the way. And it's going to give us a new display. All right. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this first one inactive. The inactive feature here basically helps us to not have our dashboard overloaded and it gets so full with so many schedules. So we're going to go ahead and make the November 1st template inactive.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Is going inactive, is that something we have to do every time we do it, or is it just for this one time?
It depends on how full your schedule gets, or what you're viewing in the dashboard, but you don't have to do it every time. It's just when it gets too full or you have too many different schedule templates out there.
Okay,
so what it does is it just hides it for you. So if you notice here on the left, you have the active or inactive button. So you're still able to view it. It just hides it basically from the dashboard.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so let's talk a little bit here about what we're seeing on the screen. So right now we're looking at the Ashland group, and this is our month of December template. And you see a couple of things here. You see this bar going across here, and we refer to this as a stage bar. So here you can see there are 3 different shades, and these all represent 3 different phases of the stage bar. So the first stage here is the composing or drafting stage. And in this stage, at this point in time, only the scheduler can view that stage, and they are actually the ones, putting together the schedule at that time. So no employees or anyone else can see the schedule during that period. So if I can turn your attention to the second half of the bar, which is in the darker rose color here, we have posted for review. At this stage, the scheduler has completed the schedule, and it's visible to employees to actually view during that time. And the last part of the stage bar is the live stage, the translucent rose color we see here. And now the schedule is actually active and visible to everyone. However, it still does allow for changes, of course, with supervisor approval. I also wanted to point out to you that sometimes these stage bars have different colors other than what you see displayed on the screen here. So we're going to talk about what those colors are. They are red, green, and yellow. So the red indicates that there are critical staffing needs within the scheduled go live date and that it's approaching. The green, if the stage bar is green, that indicates that there are no problems with the staffing and that all positions are currently filled. Okay, if the stage bar is yellow, that's just an indication that there are staffing needs that still need to be addressed in advance of the go live date. Okay, the next thing I want to turn your attention to here on the screen are these little circles here. And we refer to these circles as badges. And these badges are like little alerts to kind of give us a quick snapshot view of what's going on with the schedule before we actually dive in. So here you see the yellow badge. And if we click on that badge, it's going to tell us what's going on in this schedule template. So it tells us that we have 540 unfilled positions. Of course, don't let that number scare you, because we've actually pulled a copy of your live database and we just staged it for the purposes of the training, for today's training. So then we have the red badge here, and if we click on that, it will tell us that we have 2 over assigned positions. So we're going to now dive into the actual schedule. And we'll do that by simply positioning our mouse here near Ashlyn, and we're just going to do a simple click, and it brings us up this menu. So in the menu, we're able to select the template, and that's going to open up this template for us. All right. Okay. So for the purpose of today's training, we're going to be working within the week of, you guys kind of already set up here. So we're actually going to use this week here of the 8th. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what we see here actually in the schedule. So the first thing you see here is direct care, and you see the various positions or homes. Direct care, shadow awake, these are the names of the various homes. So these are called work groups. So the work group actually lists the position or home name there. And then the next thing you see here is the schedule start time, end time, the duration of the shift hours. And then the gray box here represents the number of positions needed for the particular schedule. And the box to the right indicates the number of actual employees actually assigned to that specific schedule. Okay. So I want to point out one other thing here. You have the option to change what you're viewing or how you actually are viewing the schedule. So to do that, there's a feature here that can change the display. So we can do that by simply clicking in view. And then you can see here there's a check mark box here by show assignments. So we're going to uncheck that, and it's going to give us a different view. All right, so now you can see it looks a little different, because what it has did, it's hidden the name of the candidates that were already assigned to the positions. So that's just an option, another way to display the schedule. So we're going to go back and we're going to click on show assignments. All right. So the next thing that we are going to dive into is actually looking at the schedule edits. Okay, so today's course will be interactive, and I will be passing the controls to you to help you get a feel for what day-to-day functions you will be utilizing within the visual scheduling. Okay. All right. So at this time, I would like to start out with passing the controls to, is that Barbie? Is that correct?
Okay. Yeah, she's here.
Oh, okay. All right. So I would like to pass the controls to her. And we're going to start looking at December 13th, and we're going to look at how to fill an unfilled schedule. So we will start with that. Okay. So I'm going to pass the controls to you, Barbie. All right. And then once you have the controls, just navigate over to the perfect. Come on, you're on point this morning. Okay. So if you you are actually in the correct position, so if you go ahead and click the mouse, and we're going to choose the first option, which is view candidates, and click that. And then on the right, there's going to be a panel that opens up. And we're going to choose to put someone in this position. So let's go down and choose Sophia or Sophia. She's the last one at the bottom there. Okay, so click assign for me. Okay, now move to the lower right corner and click the Save button. Okay, perfect. So now we can see that our pop-up has appeared, and if we go back over to the 13th, we can see that she has filled that schedule. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and collapse the panel to the right where it says just above my filter set and says candidates. Yes, go ahead and click that. It's going to collapse that panel for us. Great job. So let's go ahead and fill that second schedule down there for 10:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Let's go ahead and fill that schedule. It's right up under, yeah, right there. And go ahead and click and view candidates. Okay, and for this one, let's go ahead and choose Lacey. And we're going to assign her. And then we're going to repeat the same process and choose Save at the bottom there. Okay, great job. Thank you so much, Barbie. So now I would like to pass the controls. I'm going to take back the controls, and then I would like to pass the controls over to, who else do we have on the call? Mackenzie.
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. I just joined in.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Mackenzie. Okay. Any volunteers? Okay. How about
Ryan
Mary?
will volunteer.
Okay, Mary, we're going to choose you. Now, Mary, you're signed in here a couple of times, so let me know when you got the controls.
And actually, Ryan Hassani Sadi, he would like to take control.
Okay, great. We'll go with Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. So I'm clicking on Ryan right now, and let me click OK, and Ryan should have the controls. And perfect. So I want you to stay on the 13th. We're going to go to that 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. schedule. And we see something different on this schedule. So before we start making any adjustments, I just want to point out here that that yellow box or the golden box there to the right represents that this schedule is overfilled. And the reason that we know that is because the gray box in the number 1 tells us we only needed one person for this particular position shift. So what we're going to do is look at how to make the adjustment. So we can do a couple of things here. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and click near the gray box there, and it's going to bring you a menu up. Okay, and we want to choose the second option, which is current assignments. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose to release Juliana. So if you can navigate to the right panel, click release, and then navigate to the lower right section and click save. Okay, and it's going to update for us. All right, so now that we see that we have adjusted, if you can hover back over that 10:30 schedule, we can see that we've adjusted the 10:30 schedule, and now it just has Norton Lacey assigned to it. Okay, so I'm going to have you go down to the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. schedule, the very last one there under direct care. Perfect. So we can see now that we need 2 people for this particular position, but we only have 1. So we need to find another candidate. So kind of navigate and hover over the 2 and then click the mouse. And we're going to choose View Candidates. It's going to open up in that right panel again there. All right. So for this particular shift, we're going to go down and we're going to choose Ayan Muhammad. And we're going to go ahead and assign him and click Save. All right. Perfect. Great job. Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm going to take back the controls now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse our panel. So far we've looked at how to complete an unfilled schedule or overfilled schedule. And so we're going to look at here on the 14th, we're going to look at how to create a new schedule. Hang on 1 second. For our direct care group. So may I have another volunteer? Who would like to volunteer to create a schedule for the direct care on the 14th?
I will.
Don't speak at once. I'm sorry, did someone speak up?
I can. This is Susan.
Susan. Okay, Susan, I'm going to go ahead and pass you the controls. Thank you, Susan. All right. And Susan, if you could just navigate to the 14th where we have direct care, that first slot, and go ahead and click that area. And we're going to choose the first option, which is add coverage schedule. And now we can see that a new window has populated. So we're going to work on the left side of that menu. And we're going to choose the number of employees that we would like for this direct care position. So you can go ahead and choose 3. And you can use the arrow up and down to choose your employees, or you can type it in. So let's go ahead and select a start time. Let's go ahead and change that start time. We're going to do 7 a.m. And you can just type over it.
Oops.
It's okay. And then we're going to change the end time to 3:30 p.m. Okay. And then if you just kind of click there anywhere in the white space where you are, see how it updated the hours to 8 hours, so it automatically calculates the hours for you. And then let's go ahead and choose OK.
Can I say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
This is probably more for an overall thing, but in our department, community living, our staff does not get a lunch break. So if a staff actually works from 7 to 3:30, that staff would be on the shift from 7 to 3:30. I see how this is automatically populating to where it looks like a lunch break or some sort of break is built in. Is that something that you guys can fix on that end, or how do we wrap around that so that way they're not getting?
I believe that everything is configurable. And Don, are you still on the call? Let's see. We have Don, and then we have Tim. Hang on 1 second. David?
Yes.
Can you speak to her question? She's wondering about the lunch being automatically built in. And I explained to her that everything is highly configurable. So I believe she expressed that they don't. Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry. So I want to make sure I got it right.
We are in our field or our department, our staff they're on. So if they have a 7 to 3 shift, it's from 7 to 3. We do not have a lunch break. Based upon this configuration, it looks like because it's from 7 to 3:30, in essence, for our staff, that would have been an 8.5-hour shift. They do not get a lunch break. So I understand that we could potentially type in to 8:30, but is there a way that on your guys' end that can just be automatically populated, that lunch breaks are not included for the community living department?
Yep. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Terilyn, jot down a note and send me a reminder after the training, and I'll take care of that.
Okay, most definitely. I will do that. I've noted it, David. Thank you.
But I think it's really just the community living side, right, Mary?
It's just the community living side.
Yes, for the most part, the community living side. I would have to really confirm with the other departments as far as our day program, but to my understanding, aren't we just starting with community living?
Okay, so the community living side, does that affect the templates that we're currently in right now? Because I want to make sure we capture the right group.
Yeah, I was under the impression when Amy Taylor, Tiffany Green, Megan Breiser, and myself went through the training with just the one-on-ones with the directors or whatever. I thought we already had that conversation. So I think I think it has happened. I believe so. I do think we had that conversation before. We just haven't gone through our individual training with you guys yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've taken note of it. And again, I will get that note over to David Grunson to further review that and make sure before it's actually rolled out to you guys, everything is in place and configured to your expectations.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. So we'll proceed here. And if you could go ahead and choose OK. All right. So we have actually now configured a schedule. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to take back controls. Great job there for us, Susan. Okay. So the other thing that we want to look at is removing a schedule. I'm going to do that really quick. All right. So we're going to, on the 14th, I'm going to have someone go ahead and volunteer to remove the schedule.
Angela Chase will volunteer.
I'm sorry, did you say Angela?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to choose Angela. Angela, I hope you're good with that. Okay, so we're choosing Angela now. Yeah, Angela, you should have controls momentarily. And once you get them, if you can navigate over to the training, perfect. And we have a 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. schedule. We've just decided that this isn't really needed for whatever reason. So go ahead and not right click, it's just simple click, perfect. And then we're going to choose that second option from the bottom and just remove that schedule. Okay. All right, and then here with the box that has populated, you want to go ahead and check the first box there that says confirm removal of coverage schedules. Okay, and just go ahead and click OK. And it takes a minute. And if we look under training, we see that that schedule is no longer there. Okay, great job. So just one more thing, Angela, before I take back the controls. On the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift, we're going to make an adjustment to this schedule. So if you can kind of navigate over by the gray box, and we're going to choose the third option from the bottom, adjust schedule properties. Okay. And we're going to just go ahead and change the number of employees needed for this shift. We're going to increase it to 2. So I just wanted to mention here, you can make adjustments to anything, any portion of the schedule. So it could be the number of employees needed, the start or end time. You could change the department or anything on the right side as well. So go ahead and click OK. All right. Perfect. Now we can see that that 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Schedule has adjusted and increased the number of employees needed to 2. Great job, Angela. So I'm going to take back the controls at this time. All right. And so the next thing that we are going to look at is you guys are set up for automatic pickups. So let's take a look at the automatic pickups. So we're going to dive into today, the 20th, and we're going to look at doing some automatic pickups. So just one second. All right. So now we're going to take a look at how employees in the ESS mobile portion of this, how they would pick up open shifts. So let me go ahead and get that open for you guys. Sure what is going on in here, but I'm not seeing the open schedules. Okay. Why did I do that? What is going on? It's not working. Okay, well, let's see here. All right, so we are going to actually look at the portion of the mobile. So let's take a look at that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at how an employee can actually pick up, and you guys are set up for automatic pickups, how they can actually pick up an open schedule. Okay. Can I get her to show? All right. David, are you still on the call?
Yep, sure am.
All right. Yeah, if you could take a look at that information real quick.
Sure.
Thanks. All right. Looks like we are having a little bit of delay on our mobile side, so bear with us for just one moment.
Honestly, I think the only thing you can do with that real quick is try to log out and back in and see what that does for you.
Okay. All right.
That
So bear with me for one moment.
This might actually be on GTA's end, and we don't have a whole lot of control over that.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give it a try really quick. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and try to log back in here. Okay, it's loading for us. All right, let's give this another shot here. All right, so it's brought our screen back up for us, and let's see. All right. Okay, so as David mentioned, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with the mobile side, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move to the point of showing you what trades look like. So I'm going to show you that you guys are configured to actually pick up open schedules automatically, and then the employee's name will automatically appear in the schedule without any supervisor approval. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop into the trade section of this, and I'm going to show you what that looks like really quick. All right, can everyone see the screen? The cell phone? Perfect. Okay, sorry, I had myself muted. Okay, so as we can see here, this is the ESS mobile version of for employees to be able to view their schedules. So what we're going to look here is at how trades actually happen. So as we can see, we have Tammy here, and you can see the highlighted gold bar placed around her work schedule. So she's looking at December 13th, and she's saying, hey, I really just can't work this schedule. So what she's going to do, we're going to show you the next step. She would go ahead and click on the schedule. And then the next screen that she's going to get is going to show her that she's scheduled to work. It gives her the date, the day. It gives her the start and end times, the total shift duration hours, what location or community she would be working in, and it gives her the trade button. So we can see that she has the trade there. She would simply click it where the gold bar is. And the next thing that she would see would let her know that this is the trade request that she's offering up, and it's for December 13th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Gives the total shift duration hours. And this message here, you see how I'm looking to trade this work schedule, pops in by default. But if she clicks in the area, she's actually able to type in more information. And then the next thing she would do is simply choose save. All right. So now that she has chosen the save button, I'm going to hop back into the system so I can show you what it would look like on the supervisor side for approving it. All right. So let me switch over. All right, so now we're back into the system, and I want to show you where you can actually view trade activity just to get the view for it. So if you just wanted to see if there was any trade activity going on in the schedule, you would simply click here, view, and then go down to trade activity, and that trade activity is displayed to the right. So this is the view area. It lets you know that the trade activity is there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and collapse that panel. And we're going to move into where you would actually approve or deny trades. So let's take a look at that. So up here where you see this red circle and there's like a 62, that's just a list of all the to-do activities. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to click on that check mark, and it's going to open up a new right panel. And you can see that in here, you can see various leave requests, schedule change requests. So we're going to go ahead and choose preferences, because you can choose how you would like to see the information displayed. So for right now, we're just deciding that we just want to see any schedule change requests. So we're going to uncheck that box, and we're going to click OK, and it's going to change our display in that right panel. All right, so we can see that there is a schedule change request. This is an older date. So to approve it and get more details on it, we would simply click on schedule change request. And as you can see, it has opened up a new window for us. So what we can see here is that this is the schedule that Deborah Brown has submitted for during the week of December 8th. And she wants to trade her December 13th for this December 12th schedule. And she wants to trade with Sade Nerys. And we can see that she has a couple of different offerings here. So the first one we see is from Sadea, and she is willing to trade her schedule. She's in the community living. And then we have Aliyah, or Ali, Zaria. She's also offered up a trade. And then we also have Barbara that is offered up just to pick up the schedule. So she just simply wants to pick up the schedule. She's not offering anything up. And then in the next tab, we have Coffee McKenzie, and he's not offering anything. He just wants to pick up the schedule. And the same thing with Timothy K. Okay. But what I want to point out to you is that if we go back to the very first offer that we got here from Sadea, hers actually has the words preferred by it. So that means when Deborah Brown looked at all of her different offers she got for this particular trade, she chose Sadea, and she said, this is the one that I prefer out of all of these offers that I received. So when the scheduler is looking at this, they would probably give the preference to her preferred option first. So I would like to go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and approve this offer. Okay. So this is for December 12th and 13th. Okay. And they're swapping times. So one of them prefers to work the morning shift over the afternoon or midnight shift. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and simply click approve this offer. All right, and now that the offer is approved, it gives us a summary here. It says Deborah is trading with Sadea, and in the comments, this is automatically defaulted. It says trade approved. and we would simply click the approved trade box there, and we're going to click OK. And we're going to wait for it to update. All right. All right. So simply just to get out of this screen, now that trade has been approved, you can see that it's approved. So you can see at the top here it says closed, accepted. That means the trade has been approved. So what we're going to do is go ahead and collapse the right panel here. And we're going to use our breadcrumbs up here above. And we're going to click back on Ashland. It should take us back into the schedule. Oh, there we go. All right. So, okay, now we're back into the schedule. So if we go to the 13th, we can actually see that Sophia Ali has picked up that schedule. And then on the 11:30, sorry, we're on a wake. So we can see that those actually have been picked up. Okay. All right. So now we have taken a look at pickups. Well, we saw the option for pickups, and we saw what trades look like. So the next thing we want to take a look at would be our leave request. So we're going to go back to our to-do list, and we're going to go ahead and choose our preferences. And this time, we don't want to look at any schedule change requests. You do have the option to select all of these at once if you choose. So we're going to go ahead and choose to select leave request. And okay, so in our right panel, we're only going to see leave requests. And so we're going to look at the first one. I'm going to go ahead and pass the controls. Do we have any volunteers? All right, I will choose someone. Dion, how about you? All right. So I'm going to pass the controls to Dion. All right, Dion, when you have the controls, if you could navigate to the right there. Dion, are you still with us?
I don't think Dion's with us, but
Okay.
Kim Bowden is able to.
Okay, great.
Okay.
We'll grab Kim.
Dion is here. He came in late. He's here.
Oh, there you go.
All right, you can go back to Dion.
Okay, Dion. So if you could grab control of the mouse and navigate over, hover over the name Angela Chase in that right panel. And go ahead and click on her name. She has requested February 6th off, so click on her name. All right. So we can see that Angela, if you navigate to the left side of the screen, we can see that she is requesting her birthday off. She wants 8 hours. Okay. And we can see there we have the approve, the deny, and the change button just above the pending. Yes. And just to the right of the word pending, we know that this is the second request that she has requested in the last year. She doesn't request a lot of time off, but unfortunately, she has an insufficient balance. So we have no choice but to truly deny her. But before we do that, I would like for you to go down to the bottom section where it says accrual balances in blue and navigate to your right of that word. Okay, keep going to the right. You're going to see some arrows. Click that down arrow for me so we can collapse the time off request history. Perfect. Now I want to point out to here to you that you see February 6th, okay? So February 6th, that red highlight just denotes that's the day that the employee is requesting off, okay? And then if you could navigate to the right and grab that gray scroll bar, right just next to February, yep, and drag that down for me. Okay, so no one else has requested any other time off. But we see that she doesn't have insufficient, she has insufficient balance. So we're going to go ahead and click approve. I mean, deny, sorry, deny. We don't want anyone going negative. So click deny for us. All right. And then for the purpose of today's training, we're going to uncheck this enable email box. But normally you always want to make sure that's checked and that their email address is in there. This is how the employees get notification of denials or approvals of their schedule. So go ahead and click OK for us. All right, perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to our to-do list, which is above. Click that checkbox where the red circle is. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so go ahead and click that. And the next person that we're going to look at, let's see if they are in here. Let's go all the way down to Patricia Muthi. She's the third one from the bottom. Oh, yeah. Okay. Scroll back up. All the way back up. All the way. All right. Now, all the way to the top because I just saw her. All right. So she is the third one from the bottom. Yep. Click her name. Perfect. Now we see here that she's also requesting her birthday off. And she has a sufficient balance. But we want to take a look at here. I want to point out to you every name that you see in green, that means all those requests have been approved, and it gives you the number of time off hours they're requesting. And then anything in red, those are still pending approval. So because her date is in the past, we don't see the approve button. So we can go ahead and deny her. This is in the past. All right. And then uncheck that email box and then click OK. All right. And for one last thing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to our to-do list by clicking that checkbox, and we're going to find someone to approve. We don't want to log out. Right there. Perfect. And we're going to look at Markel West. Let's see if we can get him approved for some time off. Oh, wow. He doesn't have a sufficient balance. So let's go back to our list. Click the check mark box. Yep, right there. All right. And let's scroll down a little further. Keep going. Let's see if
Andrea Nunley, if you did that 11/28 one, she would have time.
Okay,
available.
let's click Andrea Nunley right under Yarboy Childs. She's right there. November 28th. Go up. Right there. Click that. Okay. So because her time is in the past, of course, that's why we're not seeing the approve button. But normally you would see the approve button. You would click it. They would still get that box that populates, and they would get an email saying they've been denied or approved. Okay. So that covers, and thank you so much. Great job. Great job, Dion. I'm taking back the controls.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I want to point out to you to the breadcrumbs that you see up top here. You can see every employee we visited. It allows you to go back and forth to the previous screen. So we're going to hop back into, actually we're going to go back to the visual scheduling. And the reason we're going to go here because the last thing we're going to learn before we conclude the training is how to roll forward a template. So we're going to click the breadcrumb. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and collapse this right panel. And can I have someone to volunteer to roll the schedule forward? And I'm going to actually walk you through it. Any volunteers?
Kim will volunteer.
Kim? Okay,
Kim
Kim, are you signed in as one of the Marys? Because I have 3 Mary Davises.
Oh,
I'll take over.
Who is that speaking?
Dion.
Dion, okay. Well, all right. Well, Dion, we'll give you another try. Okay. So now that you have the controls, we're back on the dashboard. And I want you to navigate kind of over to where it says Ashland, to the left, sorry. Okay, just underneath Bridget's name. Come down, down. Where you see Bridget, just underneath her name. Come over to the right a little bit. Perfect. Now, if you can position your mouse between Ashland and December 1st, kind of closer to Ashland, and go ahead and click for me. All right, so now we have our options here. So for rolling forward a template, we're going to go ahead and choose that second option, roll template forward. All right, so what we're seeing now here is that a new window is open, and this is the properties window. It shows us that we have the master template of Ashland's master, and it automatically advances to the next date. Since you guys are monthly, it advances to January 1st, 2020, and the end date being January 31st, 2020. So the next field you see there says start a new series. I strongly advise that you never check that box unless you want to create a schedule completely from scratch, and it would disregard any other schedules, dates, or times that are already in the system. So definitely avoid checking that box. And the next thing we would do would be to click OK. So choose OK for us, Dion. All right, and the system is processing.
All right.
All right, so now we can see that we have Ashland and we have a January 1st schedule. So Dion, if you could take the mouse and navigate down to the bottom where you see that gray bar. It's a small gray bar, just straight to the bottom, over to the left though. Grab that dark gray bar and kind of drag it to the right a little bit. Go ahead and drag. Keep dragging. Keep dragging. Keep dragging. A little more. Okay, so now we can see the 3 different phases. Again, the composing, the posted for review, which is the second phase, and then the translucent yellowish color to the right. If you go further to the right, and then, okay, if you grab the gray bar at the bottom and scroll over, you'll actually see that it's labeled. So scroll over to the right. Just grab the gray bar, scroll over. Live, so you can see all of those stages. Okay, so Dion, the next thing I would like for you to do is click on it. Click in the area of Ashland for the January 1, and we're going to get the menu, and we are going to open up the schedule. So go ahead and click and choose select template. Okay. And we can see now that it has populated a new template for us. And thank you very much, Dion. Thank you for your participation and great job. I'm going to take back the controls.
Anytime.
So what we can see here is that we are currently in the composing phase. So this is actually where the scheduler would go in and choose the candidates and complete the schedule. All right. So this concludes this portion of our training. So what I'm going to do, at this time.
I have one question.
Sure, go ahead.
Is it only the mobile app how the staff can trade or pick up shifts? Can they do it through the computer?
I believe they're able to do that if it's configured through ESS. Don or David probably could speak a little bit more to that. David, still there? Looks like, okay. Don, are you on the call? No. Okay, Alex, are you able to speak to that? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead, and what I'll do is pass your question along to the team to make sure that we get that question addressed for you. So let me go ahead and take note of that and jot it down. Okay. Now, we'll repeat the question for me.
I was wondering if there was another way or through the computer that staff could pick up or trade shifts, or do they have to do it on the phone through a mobile or through a mobile app?
Okay, I believe that is done through ESS, but I will make a note at the conclusion of this training and get them to confirm that information for you for the configuring side, because really that's something that your implementer would know. But I have taken note of it, and I will pass that information along. Okay. All right, do we have any other questions, comments, or concerns before we conclude?
I have a question, and maybe Mary can answer this one if she's still there. Are we gonna have access to all employees now, or is it still limited to South versus North versus all that other good stuff?
That's actually a good question. Currently, what Dion is asking is currently our system, like our team supervisors and program managers, may only have access to the people working at their location. So with this demonstration that you guys showed us, it shows that all the staff across the agency will be able to pick up shifts and trade shifts. Is that will all the TSs and program managers have access to their time cards?
No, no, they will not. They will only be able to see. I'm actually in a training database, so I have access to see a lot more things.
Okay.
So it is only configured based upon who has access to see what, which is based upon the initial call or interview that you had concerning the setup of the product.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So really quick, just before we conclude, I just want to give a training summary and overview of what we learned today. So we took a look at how to fill an unfilled schedule, edit an overfilled schedule, adjust schedule properties, add a schedule, approve leave requests. We got an opportunity to look at the process of trades and rolling forward a schedule. So you guys have been a great group today. I have enjoyed training you, and thank you so much. I just want to let you know that after at the conclusion of this training or post-training, our team is available to help you with any questions, comments, or concerns. And you will get a copy of your schedule or your system to actually play in before the final configuration is complete and rolled out to your group. So thank you again, and everyone have a great day if there's no further questions.
You too. Thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you. All right. Bye now.
Thanks. Bye.